Quick video today, guys, of me talking you through how I tile this marble wet room shower tray. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Let's go. So here is the 60 by 30 marble tile I'm using. As they're big tiles, it means I need to envelope cut them to follow the contours of the shower tray, which go like this, from the edges of the trap to the edges of the tray. With square wet room drains, if you want it to look good with big tiles, I'd always recommend centering all the joints around the trap. This will make all your cuts parallel running through your tray. This is the centerpiece of your bathroom, so this is the most important part to the set out. Other things you'd normally consider setting out off of take less priority if you want your wet room floor to look good. So with this one, I'm not too bothered how anything else sets out. I'll alter the bathroom so things work out with the set out of the tray if I have to. It's all about the tray here really, and that's it. So I jump straight in here and start putting 4 centre marks around the shower trap. Here I measured from the corners of the trap to my centre marks, and they are 65mm. So effectively I'll have 4 L cuts going around the trap. I can use that 65mm to mark an L cut on each tile, as they will all be the same to fit around the drain. After using my square to mark it, I go and cut it off on the water cutter. I marked from my drain centre to the shower seat to measure and cut off the length of the tile next. As these are marble tiles, I have to cut them on the water cutter, as they don't really like angle grinders or anything that's not water assisted to get a good cut. Also, I have to be a bit careful not to stain the tile with a pen, as these are unsealed out of the box. So any cut that is visible, I always use a pencil to mark the tile. Now I've got the first one cut, I just need to repeat the process for the next 3. I like to make sure I'm square with the back wall as I go, so I measure with a tape both ends. Okay, that was the easy part. You can see now what I mean with the joints being in the centre of the trap. I now just mark my last tiles that complete the tray, and then I'm ready for the envelope cuts. It's important at this point that everything is square and lined up with your spaces in. So I take a bit of time here making sure everything is good. Otherwise my diagonal cuts won't align well. So, using my pencil to not stain the tiles, I put my level from the corner of the trap to the corner of the tray and draw a line. I repeat this for all 4 corners to make my envelope cuts, ready to be cut off on the water cutter. If my tray edge finished in a place running through the tile, I would just cut the tile across the tray line in that scenario. But here I could work my full tile to the end of the tray. That's my 4 envelope cuts marked. I can now start cutting through my lines on the water cutter one by one. I then just put them back down dry laid as I go to make sure everything is looking good. So as you can see, this is a backerboard tray with a square drain here. I'll leave a link in the description of my tutorial for tiling around a linear wet room tray, basically a long drain on it. So I'm always happy once I get to this stage and the envelopes are all cut, especially water cuttering them. It's quite time consuming and maximum concentration is required. Now I have them all laid down, I can check for squareness once again, then I can draw some lines to work to down the tiles before removing them. Going back to what I said at the beginning about altering the bathroom to fit the tiles, you can see here this shower seat is short, so I will extend it to the edge of a full tile so everything is nicely marinated. I cut my row of tiles outside of the shower tray. Now I can just draw a line to work to, then start removing the tiles. I numbered them and the surface so I know where each tile goes. Obviously it goes without saying, make sure you fully waterproof your shower trays before tiling. For trails for this one, I went for a 10mm on the floor and a 6mm for the back of the tile, keeping all the ribs in the same direction as much as possible. I knocked up some Flex 1 flexible adhesive, cleaned any debris off the tray and straightened up my shower trap. When tiling a wet room, it's always good practice to tile the floor first. This creates an extra waterproof barrier when the wall tile sits on top of the floor tile. Also, spreading the back of the tile as well as the floor is good, especially with marble, to get really good adhesive coverage for maximum strength. I spread the back of the marble with 6mm of adhesive ready to be laid in place. I just put the tiles down at first here with not too much attention. Once I get a few more down, I start straightening them and giving them a bit of a push and a wiggle. I do this as I want a few down to get the marination of the envelope cuts as smooth as I can, so I don't want to push the tiles too much too early. I don't actually use level clips on a wet room tray as I feel it hinders the envelope cuts a bit, and also with a material like marble you have to be a bit careful with level clips, so it's all about feel for this one. I always like to have a good clean as I go, especially when you're working away from something you may not get back to for a while, and a clean worker is always a happy worker, right? So now I've got a few more down, you'll see I start actually pushing them around a bit, giving them a good wiggle and adding some spaces and start getting them where they need to be. I spread my last bit of adhesive that I left out for my feet, and then I can just complete that shower tray row. That's the wet tray done, so once again last check for square, and I move everything to my level, giving them a good clean. I rub my hand over them, making sure there is no lippage, as that would be horrible on your feet when having a shower. For the shower drain trap, it's always good once fitted to just have it sitting a couple of millimeters below the tiles. This just gives a good edge for silicone or grout. Then it's just a case of laying the outside floor as normal. Generally you'd lay this level if you have a panel of glass, but if not you'd lay it with a full going back into the shower tray. And you'll end up with something looking like this. With those symmetrical cuts on the shower tray and then following the joint going up the wall, I think it really sets this marble bathroom off. I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. I think it came out really well. And you can click right here if you want to see how to tile a linear wet room shower tray. Take care, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.